G'day, this is Brian Medway, and I'm coming to the end of a little series of talks here about raising up next generation leaders under the kind of title of this G and next G, this generation and next generation. And the Malachi prophecy that says that Elijah, John the Baptist, will turn the hearts of the fathers toward the children and the children toward their parents. He'll bring this message. This is not because John the Baptist thought it up. This is because God wants family. He wants family. He's created family. By the way, he revealed himself as a father. He has a son. He has sons and daughters. Jesus said the people sitting in the front row were his family. This is a different kind of family. It doesn't deny the other family or steal from it. It just creates a different kind of family. So I have a natural family, and that's because of somebody I'm married to and somebody that I'm the son of and somebody that I'm cousin to and so on. And then I've got this other family, which is made up of people that have no connection to me in any way, culturally or in terms of background, but we belong together because of the kingdom. And so the world wants to tribalize and wants to travel in the streams, older, not quite so old, younger. And now, you know, a 13-year-old is in a different world to a 16-year-old, all that kind of stuff. It's rubbish. It is rubbish because God wants us to be able to relate, and something doesn't happen if we can't figure out how to relate to our parent generation, fathers and mothers. In fact, one of the commandments says that, you know, honour your father and mother so that it may go well with you in the land. And that means navigate that relationship, figure out how that relationship works from your point of view, and then something will happen inside of you. You'll live long in the earth. So same for the parents. Parents don't exasperate your children, but nurture them in the love of Christ. And so here's this family thing, but this is church as well. Church is a family. It's fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters, cousins, uncles, aunts, you know, all that kind of stuff. It is a family. It's a supernatural family. And by the way, it's a family with no limits. No limits up, no limits down, no limits left, no limits right. And so the leadership has to be that. The church will be like the leadership. And that's why we have churches growing up and the people in the church are the same age as the leaders of the church. And they're very often in a narrow stream. And so older leaders just attract older people. They don't know how to relate to young people. They don't try to relate to young people. They certainly don't try to raise up young leaders and offer them space and everything else. And so here is this deal from God. And there's always something wrong when a person can't relate up to the next generation, up by meaning the older generation, or down. And I know some people like that. They just don't know how to do it. Maybe it has something to do with their family, upbringing and so forth, and I understand that. But the church is the place where we need to rescue people from that. And sadly, some of the people who are in leadership of the church are among the most dysfunctional when it comes to relationships up and down. You know? So if you haven't got good relationships with people in the next generation down from you, let alone beyond that. I mean, I have relationships. When we have gatherings in our household, I have my children there, I have the people that they're married to, and I have their children, and whatever they were, older generation, my mum and dad, Nola's mum and dad, etc., they were there as well, and we all hung around in the same house, and nobody thought about that relationship. It just seemed quite natural and normal. Well, okay, now shift from that house to the house of God and shift into the part of the house where the leaders meet, the leader room. Not all leadership is done in a room, I realise that. But think about that now. Think of how unrepresentative of family that is. It's a little cliquey group of people, or it's one person dominating everybody else, or it's a bunch of people trying to rule somebody else. So all that kind of stuff, just so much rubbish. It isn't a family, and part of the restoration of that family is when fathers and mothers and sons and daughters learn how to operate and learn how to give leadership to the church. So this is what I want you to think about. I want you to try and figure out how that would look. I know this is not just tomorrow, this is a 5-year plan. But just think about in 5 years, if the leadership group of your church was fathers, mothers, sons and daughters, who were having sons and daughters, who were giving leadership to the church, just think of what that models. And just think what that means to the church. It isn't about succession, but it includes succession. It isn't just about finding leaders for the youth ministry, although it might include that. because we're wanting old people to value the contribution of young people and vice versa. We want the old people not to be, now they're pensioned off, now they just sit there and watch the world. No, no, no. These people need to be together. They need to belong to each other. They need to belong in a father, mother, son, daughter kind of way, and it needs to be modelled in the leadership. Please understand me. I'm talking about modelling family in leadership. This generation modelling how to relate to next generation. Next generation modelling how to relate to this generation. I wonder if you're willing to take that challenge before God. Just go and ask God. Tell me whether there isn't the feel of God about this. There is. I know there is. God bless you.